Yo, what up? This your boy K Sap, the host of Simply Ball Dropping, the man behind the mic. Today, I just want to come to you guys and share you a little insight of Simply Ball Dropping. A lot of people always ask me, yo, K Sap, man, how did you come up with Simply Ball Dropping and how did you start a podcast? Well, Simply Ball Dropping didn't happen overnight. Simply Ball Dropping actually started back in the early 90s. It wasn't simply ball dropping then. It was just a bunch of brothers getting together, speaking over, a telephone call, dropping their personal views and their personal perspectives on sports, life in general. It all started out with me, myself, K-Sap, Vaughn Harper, also known as Mr. V, Larry G, also known as G Money. This all started out in the great state of Maryland, in the great city of Frederick. We used to talk sports on a telephone, on a house phone. Y'all wouldn't believe that. It was a three-way call. We used to get together when games was on. We would talk about games, players, different teams. We would just give our own personal knowledge and our own personal perceptions on different things that was going on throughout the game and different players on what their attributes was and what they're good at and what they're not good at. And we would just break it down. We would just have basic casual conversations. And little do you know, conversations like that, speaking with guys and getting, their perspectives and you learning stuff each and every day, we was able to come together and just add more to the original three. Once we added guys to the group and technology involved, you had the cell phones, or you had the Android phones, you had the iPhones, and you had cross-platform applications where whoever had an Android could chat with somebody that had an iPhone, and we just started adding members to the group. We branched off and we added Rob Bowens to the group. We added Imante Hill to the group. We added Al Green to the group, and we added Greg Thomas to the group. So we was able to chat each and every day about things that was going on in the sports and going on throughout the world. And we would talk about life in general. We stayed connected through these applications via the cell phone after we got off of the three-way calls with the house phones and everybody had their own personal cell phone. We stayed connected all the way into the late 90s, into the 2000s, and we still stay connected. So, the vision to come together to create Simply Ball Dropping, it all started out in the early 90s. And as we all moved on in life, we all went our separate ways. Me, myself, I went into the military as long as, as well as Larry G. Vaughn Harper, he went off to do his own career. Imante Hill, he moved forward with his collegiate career in basketball and coaching. Al Green, he moved on in his collegiate career with football. Robert Bowens did the same thing. He moved on in his collegiate career, playing football. Greg Thomas, a very well-known figure back in the Frederick area. He's did a lot of things with the kids, with the youth. His career path was different, but we all still stay connected. We still talk sports every day, regardless of where we was at. And we stay connected. So we came up with this vision here just in 2018, 2019. We wanted to put something forth to give people, a little insight on what the Small Brothers, we was called the Small Brothers. And it was always a terminology on the Small that if somebody did something wrong or somebody didn't do something they was going to say or, come forth and put something out there and they just forgot about it. One of the members always used to say, "You a ball dropper. You dropping the ball." So we thought about that, and I came up with a vision, came up with a plan to put together the Simplyballdroppin Podcast. And that's where we're at today with the Simplyballdroppin Podcast. And that's how it all came about. So I'm just the man behind the mic. I'm just the man that's putting the shows out there and bringing on guests and providing the content. And it was a quote by the great Eric Thomas. He said, "It doesn't cost me nothing to put content out for free. It don't cost me nothing. I'm just giving you guys the information that I've learned and that I know about sports and just bringing it to a platform where my voice is being heard." And I've had guests on my show. They bring their knowledge on different topics that we discuss and different things that are going on in the world. And we're just putting it out there. Now it's more than a conversation. You're being heard. Somebody is listening to you. So like I tell people, I have a lot of people that reach out to me and say, "Hey, how can I be a guest on the Simplyballdroppin Podcast?" Well, let me know when you're going to come on, what you want to talk about, and we'll do it. I just did an episode with one of Frederick's finest, Mr. Daryl Whiten, and I've got a lot of feedback from a lot of people, parents, youths. That was an inspirational podcast that you did with Mr. Daryl Whiten and explaining about the high school athlete and how they can become successful in the hard work and dedication that they put in to achieve their dream. So that episode right there, that's one of my better episodes, and got a lot of feedback. I've got a lot of feedback on my boxing episodes with DeJuan Hall and Larry G. A lot of people hit me up, inbox me, send me emails, send me texts, call me and say, "Hey, them boxing episodes is real nice. I mean, y'all talk about a lot of things, but the great things that y'all do is you just don't talk about the current boxers. You talk about boxers that people probably didn't know about, and you bring them to the light, and y'all guys break down their attributes and what they're able to do. And that's great. I get a lot of positive feedback. There's a lot of things going on. I mean, like you said, I just try to drive the content. I got people working behind the scenes. Like, people don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, y'all know me, K-Sap. Y'all hear me. But there's other guys that are on this team, the 7 members. They all have an intricate part of Simply Ball Dropping. I mean, I have Rob Bowens, man, my content creator, man. He gives a list of things that we set down on what things that we can talk about and the people that we need to bring on and the people that you need to reach out to and to get these episodes. I mean, I have a lot of, marketing stuff. I mean, my wife plays a major part behind the scenes on marketing some of my stuff, like marketing my website, letting people know that Simply Ball Droppin is a podcast, but also Simply Ball Droppin has its own apparel. So if you want to be part of the Simply Ball Droppin team and rock some of the apparel, I mean, I do have a website, www.simplyballdroppin.com, where you can go over and shop with me. You can get the merchandise. I mean, this is just some of the merchandise that we have. I got my exclusive blackout t-shirts with the blackout logo. I call it the Black on Black Wesley Snipes. We have the hoodies for the fall. I know a lot of people on the East Coast, man, they like to rock the hoodies and Timbs. This would be perfect for you. So I got that in store as well. Also, new merchandise coming to you. Got different colors. I call it the Vikings purple and gold. A lot of people call it the Lakers purple and gold. But as, Simply Ball Dropping this logo takes shape, I'm going to start doing all the team's colors. So any team that you rocking with, I can do them team colors and you can shop with me. Right now, I'm rocking, the purple and gold, but, that it is what it is. But at the same time, Simply Ball Dropping, we doing big things. Interviews, doing shows. I mean, if you want to be a part of, the podcast and you got something you want to say, everybody has a story to tell. And I'm just on a platform that your story can be heard. So if you feel that you want to be a part of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast, you can always reach out. You can reach out to me. You can email me at ksap@simplyballdroppin.com. And one of the team members will get back to you and we'll do it that way. So if you have something to say and you want to be a part of the podcast, I would love to have you on. I have a lot of people reach out to me. I reach out to people. I'm just networking now. Like I said, this didn't start overnight. This was a grind. But hey, it don't cost me nothing to give you content for free. And it don't cost you guys nothing to listen. It just takes 5 to 10 minutes to 30 minutes out of your time to listen. You can listen to the podcast while you're working out. You can listen to the podcast while you're at work. If that's something that you can do at work, listen to your headset. You can listen to the podcast. So for people that are listening to the podcast, share the podcast with another friend. You don't know who that friend might know. They might be able to get the podcast out to somebody that knows somebody. And we'll take off like that. But I just wanted to come to you guys today to let you know that Simply Ball Dropping, we here. And it ain't just me, K-Sap. I got 6 other members that do their things behind the scene. The merchandise is going well. I'm selling merchandise. I'm getting the merchandise out in a timely fashion. And a lot of people rocking out with me. And I appreciate all you guys' support. I appreciate everybody that listens to the podcast, that shares the podcast. And like I said, it don't cost me nothing to give you great content. Any knowledge that I have on sports, political views, current events, we're going to share it. Simply Ball Dropping, yeah, it's based around sports, but we're bigger than sports. We have a lot of things. When I first started this podcast, my first episode was with my son. My son was talking sports with me. He was talking football. He was talking about basketball. And then that first episode, a lot of people were saying, man, keep giving us content. So I said, okay, this is something I'm going to do. So I launched this podcast and I never looked back. I enjoy this, but at the same time, it's fun. So a lot of people say, man, I don't know if I can speak on the podcast. I don't like my voice. Well, your voice might be intriguing to somebody else. So just think about that. Your voice might be intriguing to somebody else. So it's just the fact that it's just conversation. But now you're being recorded. Now you're out on a platform. Now you got thousands of people listening to you. So your voice can be an inspiration to somebody. The things that you say can help somebody out. Things that you say and things that you share can mean a lot to somebody. It can give a perspective on life, sports, on how you see it, and on how they see it. That's just like when people watch First Take in the morning or Undisputed. We just have our own views about things, but half the things that we talk about, they still are material anyway. You see it on the big screen the next morning, but we've already talked about it. So once again, I just wanted to come to you and let you know how Simply Ball Dropping got started. And I'm just the man behind the mic, but I got other members that play major parts in Simply Ball Dropping. So thank you for taking out the time to look at the video and listen. So if you have any questions or thoughts, you can always contact me. Once again, this is your host, K-Sap from Simply Ball Dropping. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.